good morning. It is hump day here in Central Florida. We finally are back to some warm weather. We got out of that cold front that came through. Chilly 50s, really cold here. Back in the 70s, have the garage door open, everything's great here. Today we are gonna work on the Bosu. This is one of my favorite toys that you should have in your arsenal. It works stability, it works form and function a little more challenging. It works micro muscles in the body, and it really forces you to focus on the alignment that we're using. It forces you to stay focused, and it burns a ton more calories because you are working that much harder in the balance area. Get it? I promise it's worth it. You can work soft side, flat side, all good. Always have a set of dumbbells handy, have your blocks handy, and a strap. Those are just the things that we're always probably going to use. I will give you a little idea of something you can do if you want to follow along with us. You'll use a block. So if we're standing one leg on the Bosu, you can go ahead and do everything we do with a block under one foot. If I have everybody up on the Bosu, you can go ahead and step up on 2 blocks. It's not going to be the same, but you're still going to feel that stability, that wiggle, that movement. I wouldn't recommend anything super fast cardiovascularly like jumping, obviously, which we can do on the Bosu, but you can do this, and then anything else we do cardiovascularly, you can do on the floor. So just keep that in mind as we go through our practice today on the Bosu. We're gonna do just a couple really basic exercises today, just one time through. Remember, after I show you one time through, go back and do it again, either with me or without me. A little repetitive, I know, but pretend you didn't just hear everything you just heard. So we're gonna start just like we do any other day, like with a squat and reach or something to start to get some movement, some heat, some chi in the body. So we're gonna reach up and we're gonna reach down. This is our traditional squat and reach. Toes are kind of out into a comfortable neutral for you, for your body. Legs are a little wide, little external rotation, and again, always think about sitting back in those hips, right? So we're gonna squat and we're gonna reach. Now maybe you're just right here because you don't wanna go too deep right now, and it's enough just having this leg in this elevated position. Now, a quick reminder, as I talk or stop or demo, keep going, okay? That's gonna be how you get more of your repetitions and a little bit better workout, but I've gotta kind of cue you, keep you fundamentally correct. My whole goal for you guys is form and function, right? And a fun workout that you don't get bored doing. So you'll do that 10, 15, 20 times like we've talked about. Then we're gonna do our little shoulder drop twist where we push this femur bone externally in the hip socket, okay? So that gives us a nice little stretch, helps to open up the groin, a little of that medial hamstring, and again into that hip crease, right? And then all we're gonna do is switch that on over. Remember, you can always move your Bosu just a skosh. They're not heavy. Such a versatile piece of equipment. About 120 bucks, I guess. They used to be cheaper, but you know, inflation. So go ahead and get into that second side. Once again, we can reach to the Bosu, but notice that when I reach to the Bosu, I'm not bringing that knee over that foot, right? So we're still staying centered in both feet. See those toes pick up a little bit? That's how I know I'm shifting back into those hips and heels. That's gonna keep the pressure out of that patella. Once again, maybe it's just hands on hips for you this morning. Maybe that's all you're feeling. And again, maybe you're on a block on the floor doing the same thing, okay? So lots of options for us. That's what we love. Then we're gonna take that shoulder drop. We're gonna twist it out, get that thoracic spine. That's kind of the mid-belly, mid-back. And then again, pushing externally on that thigh bone so it rotates within that pelvic girdle. Then we're gonna go ahead and grab a block, okay? I'm gonna demo this one time on the floor so that everybody knows you can absolutely do this without your Bosu. Squeeze in on your block, stand really tall and facet lock, and then remember the rotator cuffs we're working out, right? Now, if you're doing it on the Bosu, real careful. You're gonna feel like off balance. It's gonna move, just be prepared for that. Take your block, place it up in the inner thighs. That's gonna help you lock out. You'll feel a strength come into the midline when you squeeze in on that block. Then remember, just soft knees, right? We don't want to lock out the joints because that gives us no room for movement. So little bend in those knees. Keep the spine really neutral, tummy pulled up and in. Then we're going to give that about 3 or 4 rotator cuffs in this position. Start to feel the legs fire a bit just simply from moving and balancing. And you see me shifting, right? That's all normal. That's gonna happen, don't be afraid. Worst case scenario, step off. If the block falls, regain. Just always stay really aware of your surroundings. Try not to have too many toys or things that can hinder you if you are to take a tumble off the Bosu. Now we're gonna go squat and reach on the Bosu with that block between those inner thighs. That helps us in our symmetry of our knees. That way we don't buckle the knees in or send the knees out because we would lose the block, right? So we reach up nice and high, take up some space, exhale. Now maybe you only get to those shins, right? Or maybe even just the knees, and then you're like, that's deep enough for me, Chris. You're gonna feel a lot of wiggles. Those are those micro muscles. But notice no matter how deep I go, the knees stay behind those toes. So again, squat and reach, squeezing the booty when we stand. Take your time on the descent. This is where the wiggles happen. The muscles are firing. You're gonna feel a shake. You're gonna move around. Keep your vision set on one unmoving thing in front of you. That's really gonna help, just like in yoga. Again, 10, 15 times, and then maybe we go hands on hips or arms in front to help us, and we're gonna pulse, right? We're gonna pulse. Pulse. Knees are still back, patella is safe, booty, hamstrings, quads taking all the work, little micro muscle, ankle, low leg. We're gonna be here for about 5 or 6 more. Make it feel good. Fire into those big muscle groups. Maybe a hold like chair pose in yoga. Squeeze in on that block. Get strong in your midsection as well as the legs, okay? And we just hold for 5, 4. Get a burn. You're going to start to feel that quiver, that shake in 3, 2. Stand up on 1. Get rid of the block. Step off carefully. Observe your surroundings. Know what's going on. Maybe we do a little alternating high knee to get rid of some of that tight, stiff lactic acid, or maybe we just kick up and do a really simple moving quad stretch. Remember on quad, always you can touch a wall or a chair. Always flex the ankle, pull to glute, pelvis slightly forward. Keep remembering some of the nuances as we go through new videos. Pull some of the old knowledge you brought from some of the old videos into that. Okay, so that was quite a bit of leg, got us warm, hearts elevated. I can feel it, I don't know about you. Let's go into that core belly region and upper body arms. So we've been working on our core holds, right? Forearm, elbow slightly off backside of Bosu, fingertips slightly off front. Step one foot back to get solid first and then join the other foot to match it. I would say about hips distance or the distance of a mat. The wider, the easier it distributes your weight. Then we push down through the pinky side of the hand dynamically. Tuck the tail under, pull the belly up and in. That locks you out. Now if you're feeling it in your low back, you're probably dipping or sagging and it's pulling on you. So always a little better to be high than low. You can kind of dome up a little bit if it feels too much for you right now, or lower those knees, stay in that straight body line, and yet still push down through the pinky side of the hand. That's going to engage core, shoulders, and triceps a little more intensely. 30 seconds, a minute, we've probably been here by now. And so our easy release is to place our hands on top of the Bosu, sit your hips back to your heels, and take a very generous child's pose. That's going to release tension in the shoulders, tension in the lower back. You can rock side to side and get a little extra stretch along that subscapularis area, that shoulder blade where we get really tight and tense. So now we're gonna go right into abdominals, right? So core is abdominals, but it's deeper. It uses more intensive muscles from the whole body. I always like a block as a spacer. I feel like it keeps me honest in my knees. I can place it any level that makes sense in my body. It just feels right. But it allows me to squeeze in on something and stay a little more honest. Now, we're gonna lower our booty just off top. So you see I'm at like a 45, right? And then I'm gonna scoop. You see the difference? I'm not gonna arc or pull away from the Bosu. I'm gonna scoop. It's called a C curve. Then I can place my hands here for a little easier, or I can come all the way back here for hard. We're gonna lower a little bit, and then we're gonna hop. We're gonna look up towards the sky, not forward crunching or pulling on the neck. Keep the elbow tips wide in your peripheral. Push into those legs. That's gonna help keep you active in your core. active in those low abdominals. And then push that low back down. Keep it pressed into that Bosu. That's where we stay really active in our abdominals. Now remember, you're just crunching. Exhale as you come up. Inhale to down. Ha. Full exhale. Contract into the diaphragm. Remember, the hands stay back, elbows stay open. Squeeze in on your block. Now you've probably done enough. You're feeling that burn, that sensation. Maybe it's little pulses here. Maybe reach to the sky. That makes it just a tiny bit more attainable. But you are way deep into that transverse abdominals, which are the lower, and also right into the belly button, the rectus abdominis. So just feeling that strength, pulse it out a few times. And then the greatest release for abdominals on the Bosu is this. Get rid of the Bosu. Let your booty drop all the way down. Come into butterfly pose, or if you're a yogi, Supta Konasana. And then lay back. So we can restore on the Bosu. We can strengthen on the Bosu. It's a phenomenal device, right? Love it. Maybe a couple snow angel arms. We're just stretching into the front line of the body. Now, we're going to flip over. We're going to do one more arm today so that you got a couple legs, couple arms, couple core. It's my whole goal with you guys, right? So we're going to do plank pose. Now, I will tell you this. If you want to flip the Bosu over, going to be harder, but slightly easier on the wrists, right? So you can do a plank with your fingertips pointing down the Bosu, okay? Little softness in the elbows. You don't want to be locked out. Same body line as a core. Now we're really working shoulders, triceps, and chest here. Remember, closer feet, always going to be more advanced, okay? Makes it more tippy. You've got to balance more. Distributing that weight going to make it a little easier, a little more attainable. All right, so that's really strong in the arms. Now, the second variation, if you're up for it, is to flip your Bosu onto the soft side. So now we've got this nice platform to work from, okay? And then we can place our hands right on top. Okay, now what you can actually do is a push-up, right? So arms about shoulder distance, feet about hips distance, and now we can go into our push-up. Notice my booty stays in line, my shoulder, my neck, my head stay in line. And I'm just lowering, exhale as you lift. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now you can drop your knees and do a push-up from a low plank. Yes, you can. There's always a modification. There's always a way to make an exercise attainable for you. You can also hold plank right here. Just really get into those abdominal core muscles. Hold here. Make sure shoulders are always over wrists. Again, shoulders over wrists. That's how we know we're dynamic. Now we just drop those knees and take a child's pose. Again, you can tip side to side. Get a little stretch there, maybe kneel back, hips to heels. Take that chest expansion. Give yourself a little ear, shoulder, ear, shoulder. So guys, we didn't even use dumbbells today, right? We used a block and a Bosu. There's always fun in kind of designing workouts that make more sense to you. And there's always a way to do it. If you just have a couple of at-home pieces of equipment, these can tuck under beds, they can go in closets. Mine are all in my garage. The blocks take up no space at all. Light set of dumbbells and a strap. We can do almost anything we need to with just a few devices. I'm going to take you through the Bosu a couple more times this week, show you some more advanced movements, show you cardio, and give you a little more idea of some of the strength moves you can do. But you can already see where we can take this, right? We can even get up on one foot on that flat side, lift it out, and get all sorts of crazy, guys. The Bosu is here for us to have fun, get imaginative, and work out our body from tip to tail, as I say. Have an awesome hump day, you guys. This is intro to Bosu. It's just the beginning, because now you can go out and buy one if you don't have it. By the time I come back tomorrow and the next day, you'll be ready for a bigger, more advanced Bosu workout. Mwah, love you guys. I will see you soon. Have an awesome rest of your day.